Welcome back, everybody, to the daily racing show here at RacePlazaMedia. And today we'll be talking about our
AMA Supercross experience. Woo!
Let's get into it.
As you know, if you've been following our channel this month, we are super new to AMA Supercross. We started watching our first races this year along with this season, and we've turned into fans.
Yeah.
We absolutely love it. It's accessible, it's easy to watch because it's streamed on Peacock. It's super exciting. I mean, every single race, things happen.
The unexpected also happened.
Yes,
Yeah.
and as per usual with racing, for the most part, the race is not over until it's over.
Yes.
So the AMA Supercross was coming back to Anaheim, to the Angel Stadium. So we thought, let's go.
Let's go. Yes. Anaheim is not too far. We live in LA. So we got tickets.
Yeah.
And we went to go see it live, and it was absolutely amazing.
It was so much fun. But let's go back to the beginning. Let's talk about tickets. We ended up getting our tickets on Ticketmaster.com. We looked at a bunch of different places, but as you probably know, if you buy tickets for events and concerts and stuff, I mean, it's ridiculous how much they charge. Not the actual fee for the ticket, but then all the processing fees and all that
service fees and
BS.
stuff like that.
I mean, it's really annoying. We ended up paying $75 per ticket, but then there was an additional like $20 fee per ticket.
Yeah. So it was about $95 per person.
Yeah, so it was just under $200 per for the entire both tickets.
Then we paid. So we didn't park on at the Angel Stadium. There's like a event parking right across, and there we paid $40 for parking. And it was actually very accessible, so it was easy to leave at the end. I mean, yes, of course there's like a lot of people leaving, but there was police there to direct the traffic, which helped significantly.
Yes.
So I think like leaving the Dodger Stadium it's a much bigger mess than it felt like it least, than leaving here. And then we also, of course, got merch. As you guys can see, I'm wearing my hat, which that one was $35. And then Pia got a shirt that was also $35.
Yes.
I will say, the only caveat I would, or is that a word? Yeah.
Caveat.
Caveat. I said caveat. Yep, that's how I pronounce it. The only thing is, I wish there was more merch.
Yeah, it was a little. I mean, they had several stands.
But I think, went to the biggest stand.
For at least the one that we saw, that was the biggest, and they had
no 250cc.
Because they had a couple like general AMA Supercross stuff, or shirts and hats and stuff, and then they had specific shirts for Eli Tomek, Aaron Plessinger,
Barsha had a shirt and a hat.
Cooper Webb,
and a Sexton.
And Sexton, yeah, exactly. Those are the only guys who actually had shirts available at the stands.
Yeah, specifically for them with their number on it.
Exactly, and then there was also a couple of hats with their numbers and stuff on it, which I thought was, I mean, part of me like gets it, but part of me also not, because if I would have gotten a specific one,
it would have been Ken, for me at least.
Been Ken, yeah.
Because, fellow German. But yeah, so that's really the only thing is, I will say, pricing wise, I think $35 for a hat is actually not bad.
Yeah, and my shirt was also $35, which is fine. I mean, it's a t-shirt.
Yeah.
But I feel like considering merch can be expensive.
Yeah. Like I think if you go to like a Dodgers game or something, you try to buy a jersey or something like that, it's like over $100.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So I think $35 is fair. I think $75 plus the 20, so 95 for the tickets is fine.
And especially, I feel like we had really good seats.
Yeah, we had very good seats.
Our seats weren't on the bottom. We'll show some pictures of like our view.
Yeah.
We were on section V423, so it's fairly high up, but we were facing we were looking at the final,
the finish line,
the jump. So they were jumping towards us essentially, which was really cool. So we had a really nice point of view. We saw the start really nicely. We had, the jumping sections in front of us. And then, when during the final race, when they jumped through it and the flames come out, it was really right towards us, which was really cool.
And I will say, though, I don't know if it has something to do because it's a baseball stadium or if it's just the Angels built a good stadium. I don't think it really matters where you're sitting. I think you have a good view anywhere.
Yeah.
We just liked having the finish line, having that perfect view on there. We wanted that. And, well, you picked that. Originally, had looked more on the sideline. But, yeah, you picked those. And I think that was an excellent seats and highly recommend.
Yeah, it was a really fun experience. There's constantly stuff happening. We went into the stadium at around 4:30.
Yep.
We got our merch. And then we went to our section, and then there's already program happening.
Yep.
Right, even before the races start, they had freestyle motorcycle or motocross people.
We'll add some pictures.
Yes,
but which is a little bit difficult to get pictures because they're doing obviously flips and tricks, but it was very, very cool.
Yeah, it was so cool to see because they had this, we were sitting down and they had this big inflatable ramp.
Yeah, and I was like, what are we doing? Did we get tickets to the wrong event?
And then they had like this pre-show essentially, which was really cool.
To get, I guess, maybe the people hyped.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it was very exciting.
Yeah.
And then it started out. So we actually didn't go to a quote unquote regular race. It was the Triple Crown Champion.
Or the first Triple Crown Championship of the season.
Out of 3. And the way that works is they have 2 qualifying sessions, I believe, in the beginning of the day, which we didn't watch. You can access those if you also purchase the
FanFest tickets, which is another $20, which is not bad. We just didn't have time due to work to go in earlier because that starts at around 10, where you can have access to the qualifying sessions. You also have access to different like activations and potential like meet and greets and stuff, which I would have loved to do. But yeah, we just didn't have a chance to do that this time around.
Correct. So then the way it works is they do 3 races and they score those Olympic point style. So who at the end of the 3 races has the least amount of points wins the overall event and takes the most amount of points into the
overall championship,
which is a little confusing. Least amount of points gets the most amount of points, but that's kind of how it works.
Yeah, which was really interesting because I didn't know going into that it was a Triple Crown event, so that they had 3 full races happening this time. But it was still, it was super
very
fun.
Very exciting.
So let's start off with the races overall. The 250cc, of course, had also the 3 races. Levi Kitchen ended up being the overall winner. He also won, and I felt like dominated the first race. He was in the front pretty much the whole time. It was a really nice race on his end. The second race, he became second, and the third race, he became
he ended 1, 2, 3.
But he ended up scoring the lowest amount of points, so that's why he won the overall category. However, before that, they did racer introductions beforehand, which I thought was really fun. They had like some of them had like an intro video, and then they came in on their bikes or had different types of intros.
I think, Jet came in like a boxer.
And then
he came down the crowds, and he had like a video, like how like the boxers come out.
When they
like
through the tunnel and stuff like that. So that was really cool that they had that.
Who came out in the Ghostbusters car? It's one of the 450. Was it Barsha?
I think it was Barsha that came out in the Ghostbusters, because it was the whole thing was they were promoting the new Ghostbuster movie.
So they won the Ghostbusters trophy at the end.
Yes,
it was
exactly.
Like sponsored by them,
which was really fun. But then he came out, the Ghostbusters movie. We have a couple pictures of that as well, and that was really cool. And then eventually he got onto his bike and he did a little lap as well.
I will say not every racer got an intro like that, because it would be, I think,
it would take too long.
It would be like over 40. It would be like 44.
It would be 44, yeah. So they did like either the top with the top score, who are the most popular people. I mean, you could definitely tell who are like fan favorites, like Aaron Plessinger. Like the crowd went crazy.
Yes, they went crazy for him.
mean,
He's a fun guy, man. I get it.
He's super charming. He's a character, and
Yeah,
people love,
absolutely.
and he does really well too. So I mean, it's like
It makes sense.
everything works for him. I do have to say, and we talked about it yesterday, I didn't like that the crowd booed when Jet came out or during Jet's intro or anything that kind of featured Jet Lawrence. He does not seem to be very popular.
So we don't know how he was behaving last year during 250. So you guys can let us know in the comments down below.
If there's really a reason that people don't like him.
We don't, I mean, I'm also saying, I told you yesterday, I think the commentators also are not doing him a favor by hyping him up so much and be like, oh, you know, he's going to come in here and he's going to turn everything upside down. Especially as the rookie coming in, I think that doesn't really help him.
Well, I think he's the rookie coming in, the winner of the 250 West last season. He's also not American in this very American sport or style of sport, because obviously motocross is all around the world, but Supercross is American.
It's an American championship.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe it's that, but I personally, I don't like booing. It's just, unless somebody really has done some really bad stuff.
To be fair, his behavior at the end of last race, I don't know if that contributed towards that as well.
True. But I mean, I feel like I'm against booing unless somebody is really has done some bad stuff.
Yeah,
you know, I feel like it's just.
I'm more like I'm okay with booing teams more than people. Like if you're watching like a football game and your team sucks, you know, like then I think it's better than throwing any things. But in general, it's, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
But for me, it's like, if you don't have anything good to say, just don't say anything. Like if the crowd is silent when he comes out, then I'd rather have that than like booing.
Because that did happen also, where like some people came out and there's like no crowd reaction.
Yeah, which is sad. I mean, we're always loud and cheering, because I mean, like, it's just, I feel like it would be
part of the stadium experience, in my opinion, cheering for
as a fan. But I also think about, like, if I would be down there as the racer, I wouldn't want to hear somebody cheer for me.
Yeah, of course.
And that's why I also don't like the whole booing thing, because I feel like there's so much pressure on you. It's on TV. You want to do well, and then people are booing. I feel like that just adds to like mental pressure.
That's just not your cup of tea.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's really one of the very few things I didn't like about it.
Yeah.
But going back to it, a lot of them had an entrance, which was really, really fun. Some of them were a little bit more thought out. They had like something fitting their character or who they are.
Also, who was there? First of all, there was this legendary driver from Sweden, Lars Larsson. He was there and he was like honored.
Yes, exactly.
And there was another guy who also was honored, who got a trophy, Gary.
Yes, the Gary Jones trophy.
And also Dakar Rally winner Ricky Robeck was there, which was really cool. He was there on his bike.
Yes, and he had, I mean, if you've been following our channel or followed at Dakar, he just won the motorcycle championship of the Dakar this year. So he came by. I mean, last week they gave him a shout out because he had just won. Yeah. And then this week he was actually there. He did a little round or lap in his bike as well, and behind him was his coach. Okay, now going back to the 250cc races. Again, there are 3 races. Levi was the overall winner. He won first, came in second for the second, and third for the third. There's lots of action happening, as per usual during the AMA Supercross races. One of our 250cc favorites is Joe Shimoda, and he did really well.
He did really well.
I mean, he always had a little trouble at the beginning, or he got caught in like some kerfuffle.
I think his coaches did say that his starts need to get better. But in the last race, he ended up coming second. He came second.
Yes,
So he came 9th in the first one, 3rd in the second, and then 2nd in the last race.
Third race,
And overall, really well. He's also one of the few drivers who changed outfits every single race. So the first one, he was all in red, then he was all in black, and then he was all in yellow. Yes.
I mean, at least very noticeably changed outfit.
Yes.
I'm sure the other racers maybe changed it too, but maybe they have the same look for...
Yes, for all of them.
But like his was very... Because we were like, where is he? Where is he?
Where did he go?
And it was just like, oh, he's now in a black outfit. No, he's now in a yellow outfit. Because, I mean, since we said we're fairly new, so we're still getting familiar with the numbers on their plates and stuff like that, which I also thought was interesting, which I didn't know before, was that for 250cc, the plates are black and the letters are white. And then for 450, it's white plates with black letters on them. And then, of course, you have the leader, the overall leader's plate, which is red. And then you have a purple plate for like last season's winner, I think it is. So it's like there's a lot of detail into it, which I thought was really cool.
It's very interesting, yes, because we didn't know that. But the cool thing is, if you watch it in the stadium, they kind of give you the rundown of how everything will work.
Yes, they had like videos before each start of the race, kind of breaking things down. The Supercross 101, which I thought was really cool.
And then during the race, they also have like on the big screen, they have like position, like who is in first, second place. Then they also have like overall standing of the Triple Crown event. And then they also every once in a while they show fastest lap.
Yes.
Technically, they're also the commentators talking, so they are broadcasted over the speakers.
The ones you hear on TV, same people.
But it's so loud that you can hardly make it out. I will say, I don't think, for me at least, it wasn't too loud.
No.
But if you have like a sensitivity to loudness, I would highly recommend bringing some headphones that you can take on or off depending on your needs.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely notice a difference, especially because we're on one side of the track. Like if they're on the far side of it, especially at the beginning of the track, it wasn't as loud. But as soon as they turned the corner into the last couple of sections, it got really loud. But it was like a fun loud. You know, like it's a cool noise.
Maybe if you're sitting a little closer, it's even worse or louder, of course. But for us, it never at any point I felt like, oh, this is too loud for me. Like it hurts my ears or anything.
And it's also kind of interesting because, I mean, you see of course the whole track. So there's lots happening because at the beginning the field is quite together, but then it immediately spreads out. So you can look anywhere and there's stuff happening, and then you would hear the audience, oh, and you're like, oh, what's happening? What's going on?
Everyone is looking.
Yeah, because I mean, if it's happened somewhere else, they of course have the first reaction. So it was really kind of cool to see. The audience also, I feel like, woke up towards the end more because we did some like low
wave. Yes.
That's cool. And then also in between the races, there was always something happening.
So the way it worked, you had the 250cc, then you had the 450cc, and then when I don't know if they're like resetting, so from going from the first race to the second race, we had 7 and 8 year olds racing in the track with electric bikes.
Yes.
They did 3 laps, and it was super cute.
It was super adorable because they were part of, I think it was the KTM factory team. They are really good at what they do, but they also have to do really well in school to be part of the team. They got the whole like fit. So that was really cool to see because they were on the same track as the adults. Yes, of course, not the high speed or the big jumps or anything. But
jumping.
I mean, there was a little bit of jumping, But it was really cute to see because there was also a little bit of a battle going on for the second and third place.
Yeah, first place was like driving by himself, then 2 and 3 were battling, then 4 she was by herself again, and then in the back there was some battling around.
Yeah, but it was really cool to see. And then between race 2 and race 3, there were the 250cc or 250SX futures racing. So they were on average like 16, 17 years old.
Yes.
And that was also really cool. There was a lot of action happening.
It was very competitive
competitive. We had a couple of people go off track, or I think 1 or 2 might have gotten injured even.
Not that is cool, but
no.
But overall it was still very exciting.
It was high intensity,
yeah, very
for
high
sure.
intensity,
Yes, because the kids were cute.
Yeah,
but the futures were really racing.
They're really the future of that.
Yes.
Sport or championship.
So this weekend of 250 SX races concludes the first set of their races because next week we're going to be in Detroit. So the 250 East Championship will start. So the guys competing in the 250 SX West are going to have a week break. So that's going to be cool to see a whole new group of 250SX riders.
Because we don't know anyone from the East Coast.
No, there's going to be a whole new group to us. I'm excited. If you guys know any of the 250 riders, or if you have an idea who's going to be the one to watch, let us know in the comments below. Because we know that Hunter Lawrence won the 250 East last season, so he's not going to be in it since he's competing in the 450 now.
So his brother won West and he won East.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Ooh, so I'm learning something while we're
Somebody needs to watch our own videos. But yeah, so it's going to be cool to see the whole new set of riders.
Sorry, I honestly didn't know that.
I mean, it's fine.
I'm sorry.
So we're gonna have a new set of riders. But now moving on to the 450 SX races. I mean, we also had 3 set of races. Those were, I feel like, even crazier. I mean, not that one is better or wilder than the other, but so much happened also in the 450 SX races. There's a lot of repositioning, and the results changed quite a bit over the 3 races. For example, like we know now that Levi pretty much stayed on the podium for all 3 races for the 250, but in the 450, it was a little bit more of a change.
In the 450, it is so interesting. It's almost like a Carlos Sainz Sr. repeat, because Cooper Webb, who won the overall Triple Crown event, didn't actually win a single race. So, you know, Carlos Sainz won the overall Dakar this year, but he didn't win a single stage.
That's true.
So it's like his consistency, however, paid off.
Yes.
Cooper Webb came in second in the first 2 races, and then the 3rd race he came 5th, but his overall consistency ended up paying off, and he won.
Yeah.
That's really amazing and really cool.
Yeah, it was a really, really fun 3 set of races. I would highly recommend checking it out. You can watch it already on Peacock. So definitely check that out. I love that Peacock has it there so you can rewatch it. Because sometimes we go back just to look at specific moments.
Because there is something that happened. However, if you don't have Peacock, before we get into that, you can also watch the extended highlights on
YouTube.
On NBC Motorsports. They do an excellent job on it as well.
Exactly.
We mention it every week, but it is true. They do a fantastic job.
They do a really good job. Yeah, exactly.
And credit where credit is due.
Yes, yeah. Then there was some drama.
There was some drama, which actually we didn't even realize that until you told me today, because in the stadium I didn't notice that.
I noticed a little bit of something, but I didn't know exactly what happened, because I remember that at the end of the race, in the post-race interviews, a lot of people were already leaving. We stayed
after race 3.
After race 3, we stayed for the post-race interviews where they're interviewing a bunch of the riders. Of course,
we stayed until we got kicked out, essentially. And this lady was like, "I need to go home. You need to leave."
So basically, Aaron Plessinger was interviewed, and he thought he came in 4th because that's what
that was about.
That's when he came. That's what he had come in originally. But then somebody off camera told him, "You're 3rd," and he's like, "What? I'm 3rd?" But then he kind of he was like, "Oh, I'll figure that out later."
Or you guys figure it out.
Yeah, something like that. And then he just kept on with his interview. But then, so today I read that there was, and we rewatched the clip of it. So essentially, Jason Anderson went off track pretty much at the beginning. So at the beginning, he got into a little kerfuffle with Ken Roxon, where Ken just got caught on the back wheel of his bike. Ken went down. Jason kept going. Then there was another set.
It wasn't the first one.
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad.
So then he came around, and then before that actual whoop section, he came out the corner and he kind of lost balance. Or if you know exactly how you call these things, let us know in the comments below. But he fell, and then when he got back on the bike, instead of going over the hoops, he went around. And then AMA decided that he got an advantage because of that thing that happened at the beginning of the race. So they ended up pushing him from 3rd place into 4th place, which people are, according to Instagram and the socials, are very upset about it. Some people say that the AMA has something against Jason Anderson because he has spoken out against the AMA previously. Me, as a new fan, watching it, I don't think it was the right call. I don't know all the rules.
It seems very harsh.
I think so too, especially because it's not like because of going around the hoops, he got in front of somebody. Like he didn't gain any spots. And like maybe he gained a smidgen of time because, of course, going over hoops.
Yeah, he did no passing. He didn't pass anyone, like you said.
That's what I'm saying.
And in the overall race finish, he ended up coming 8th. So.
Oh, like in the final result.
So I don't know if he came 7th, but it's not like he ended up winning because of that.
Yeah.
You know? So it seems very harsh.
Yeah.
If you guys have any more information, you guys can also let us know. We'll keep an eye on that.
Yes.
Some people are saying like, oh, you know, this is also benefiting kind of the
fan favorite.
Fan favorite Aaron Plessinger. I will say I don't think Aaron personally is at fault of anything. He's not in charge of making this decision.
He didn't even know that was happening.
Exactly. He's just the one who's kind of benefiting from it. In the overall standing, it did not affect Aaron because he's now
Aaron. Yes.
Aaron is still ahead. He's now just ahead 4 points instead of 2 in the overall standing. But I think it seems quite harsh.
I thought so too.
Especially, like you said, it's literally first lap.
Yeah.
And it didn't seem like Jason's overall race. It's not like, as I said, it's not like he came first, second, or third. You know?
Yeah, so that's why I don't necessarily agree with it. But again, let us know in the comments below. Maybe you have some more insight on it, especially about Jason's history with the AMA. If the AMA maybe has a vendetta against.
Exactly. Conspiracy.
I don't know, but regardless of that, it was still such a fun race. Overall, it was such an amazing event. I would say it was entertaining from the beginning to the end. Yes, the races are 10 to 12 minutes plus 2 laps. So they're fairly short, but so much happens. And then even in between the races, there was always some entertainment happening. I did wish they had a t-shirt cannon to make it all the way up to us with t-shirts and not just
they threw some they were like, okay guys, get really loud, we're gonna throw some t-shirts, and I thought they would have a t-shirt cannon, or you did too, and then it's just these women who were
the women who have the signs up at the beginning of the race,
and then they're throwing the t-shirt. It's okay, you're not gonna make it all the way up.
No way.
And if you do, you should try out for baseball.
Yes.
Without arms, you know.
But I would say I definitely recommend going.
Especially the tickets that we got, they were not the most expensive tickets. So there are cheaper tickets available, especially if you're a family or something, you want to go with multiple people. I can understand that $95 per person is a lot.
Yeah.
So there are cheaper tickets available. And if you have the chance, I highly recommend. I will also say, because it is a baseball stadium, it is quite open. The wind was blowing our way, so every once in a while you did get quite a waft of the exhaust. It didn't bother me as much as it bothered you.
I mean, it's not that it bothered me, it just became, I was
aware.
Very much aware of it, and I was also surprised that it was, I mean, I've never been to
a race
in a stadium. I've worked at the Long Beach race before, but it's more open. But because the stadium, it does enclose it a little bit,
and then the wind was blowing our way.
Exactly. So I was just very much aware of it. Which it was something that I hadn't thought about. I was very much I knew going in it was probably going to be loud. It was a fun noise loudness, if that makes sense. But the exhaust smells, fumes did surprise me definitely a bit, but I wouldn't count it against it. It's part of the whole experience. I think it's so fun that it's such a spectacle. I mean, there's so much at the beginning, right before the race starts, there's so many fireworks, and there's flames.
And the flames, they happen right at the starting line, and we were quite far from the starting line, and we could feel the heat of it, which was wild. We were, however, quite lucky with the weather. It wasn't very cold. It was like January in California, you know?
I mean, it is January.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying but the last 2, it was raining, which is quite unusual for Southern California that it rains, you know? And we do get rain, but we've been getting a lot more rain recently.
Yeah, that's true. That's
So
true.
we got lucky
nice.
with it. You
Yeah,
know?
I mean, we had a jacket on, but it was, I mean,
Neither of us actually were wearing our jacket. I was wearing my sweater, and later on you put on your jacket.
yeah, but it was, yeah. So it was like, it was perfect
Yeah.
kind of weather for it because it was also not too hot. Of course, once the race started, the sun was already going down, so there was no sun in your eyes. The race it's 3 hours long. It's from 5 to 8, and it's constantly stuff happening.
Yeah, so it never feels like a drag. And also you can bring your own water, so you don't have to, so you have to bring a bag that it's see-through.
Yes.
At least I don't know if it's everywhere, but at least in the Anaheim stadium you have to. So we brought our own water, so we didn't have to spend the money in the stadium, because everyone knows stadium food and drinks can be quite expensive.
Yes.
So you can bring your own like little provisions.
Yes, exactly. And we did go right before the race. We went to Golden Road Brewery, which is right across the street from the stadium. So shout out to them. We had some food before, which was nice. We didn't really have to buy much inside the stadium. We did get some dessert, ice cream sandwich, and some Dippin' Dots.
Yeah, but that was like, it was like what, $20?
Less than that,
Less
even.
than that,
Yeah.
So, but overall, it is quote unquote quite affordable for racing, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing, or the whole idea behind our channel. We want to find different types of racing. We want to see how they're accessible, how affordable they are.
Introduce them to people like we are brand new to Supercross, and we're huge fans. You know, 3 races in, and then we attended the 4th one, so it's super exciting.
Yeah, I mean, it's super fun. Definitely very much recommended to anybody if you have the opportunity. As mentioned, they're going now towards the East Coast. Next race is going to be in Detroit this upcoming weekend. Yeah. So I'm definitely curious also how the weather is going to be there, because Detroit, January or February is very different than California. Yeah. So yeah, definitely recommend it.
Highly recommended, yes.
Let us know in the comments below if you've ever been to one, or maybe did we spark your interest to go to the next one that's happening in your vicinity. And yeah.
As always, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Like and subscribe. Get in touch with us in the description, in the comment sections down below, or with our socials, through our socials. And then, we'll see you guys tomorrow here at the Daily Racing Show.
Bye-bye.